We're rolling now. Clap.
Clap.
So, unfortunately, there's no official intro. All my episodes just start off with me talking, which that's the way it is. Mr. Joshua Sharp. Oh, man, what's up?
What's going on, man? This light is blinding me, man. What's
Dude,
up?
turn it off if you want, man.
Oh, no, it's cool. It's cool.
If you
I'm
want
trying to set the mood.
So, man, tell me how you met Pierre and Sonny again. Because it feels like they're everywhere now, man. It feels like they know too many people.
Okay, cool. So I met Sonny and Pierre through a guy named I want to say Sam, or I can't remember his name for anything in the world, but he worked at UAB, and I was in the midst of starting a tech startup at the time, and he linked me to Sonny. He said Sonny is a videographer, he's a marketing guy, coming out of college. He's pretty enthusiastic about what he does and passionate. So I was like, okay, cool, I want to work with him. So I met him, and then it kind of came from there. We met, we sat, we talked. We met at what was it? Shake Burger, Shake Shack, Shake. It's on 280.
Shake Shack? Steak and Shake?
There you go, that place. Okay, yeah.
Too many burger spots.
Yeah. And we went to that place and we met, and when we went in there, we actually saw Matt Woofin in there, and we shook hands or whatever, because it was a pretty dope experience. I guess it was like the right moment, supposedly.
Woofin's he's a pretty cool dude.
Yeah, he's chill.
I see. Yeah, Sonny, he just knows a lot of people, man. That's something I've noticed. He's always talking to people. He's a good dude, though.
Yeah.
That's the one thing, though. He does a lot, though, talking. But it's working out for him, as far as I see.
Yeah, they're freaking going in.
Crazy work.
And seeing, like, I follow Pierre a little more closely than Sonny.
Yeah.
And Pierre, they're always out shooting.
Yeah, they're going nuts. They told me about what they do, and they'll drive out to Atlanta randomly sometimes, drive out and just do shit.
Just do it. Just be like, let's go. Yeah. And I never go with them. They never invite me. So
nah, it's all good. I mean, I respect them. I respect them for that hustle, though. I mean, it's good because everyone can be a dreamer, but at least they're dreamers, but they're putting in the work, and that's what I respect about them. Yeah, for sure. Speaking of that, man, why don't they play poker for money?
Poker for money? I don't know, man. I think we like gamble jokes. Like it's like the person who gets out the fastest has to like shuffle the cards. So I don't know, man. It's like a weird trade off.
That's weird.
It's
not fun.
It's more like advice. You more like a bit of advice. Like, hey, if I win this, you tell me how to do this. I'm like, all right, I got you. It's more like bartering knowledge.
I think everyone needs their own vice in a way. Gambling. My vice is smoking cigars. So that's that for me.
How do you do that?
How do you smoke cigars?
Yeah.
You don't inhale in the lungs. You keep it in your mouth. So you puff on it. That's all it is. People, when it comes to cigars, people think you're inhaling all that into your lungs. Nobody does that unless you're fucking insane.
Wow.
Which I've seen people do it before, but they don't live very long.
You'll get super sick.
Wow.
Like real bad.
That's an art, man. That's an art form, right? I never knew that.
I didn't know there was an art. I didn't know.
Sauce right
That's a very elegant way to put killing yourself, doing a vice the wrong way. Yeah. I guess. So tell me more about this art show. What are you trying to do with it? In a sense.
Okay, cool. So the art show is called Visual Paradise. And it's a young guy named Ricochet who actually made a movie called $1 Million Ambition. And
turn the mic into you. My bad.
Yeah. And it's a guy named Ricochet. He basically had this movie called $1 Million Ambition. And I was on Facebook one day, and he had the movie coming out. It was a short 30-minute movie, right? And I just wanted to. He was like, "Hey, I'm looking for sponsorships," and I was like, "You know what? I'm doing good. Let me reach out to this guy." So I liked the page and I messaged. I said, "Hey, man, you need any sponsors?" And he's like, "Yeah." I was like, "All right, cool." Well, I was like, "Yeah, cool. I'll make sure to sponsor you guys." So I ended up sponsoring this event, and he had a lot of other people sponsor this event. He had a movie release, and then after that, I just started watching and seeing how he was moving. I was like, I would like to work with this guy. He seems like he's pretty efficient. And so, we end up coming up with this concept and, Visual Paradise. And then the goal is basically to showcase and create an environment where visual artists, painters, right, and young musical artists can come and talk about and learn how to present themselves in front of a camera, adding value to their product, not only just being a painter, but also having a storyline with it and understanding how to convey that message.
I see. So you're teaching them in a sense how to not just be how to
you got it, man.
Moments. I got it. I promise, guys. How to basically present themselves in a more professional way, get them used, get some of the nerves out of the way.
Exactly.
Yeah, a lot of new artists don't know how to speak.
Oh,
if they're in front of a camera, or worse, in front of an audience,
or in front of an A&R,
or a customer. Definitely the customer.
I've noticed a lot of the younger bands don't know how to do the small talk in between songs. Yeah. And then if they're doing interviews, it's like,
it's painful.
Yeah, it can be painful to watch for sure.
Yeah.
Man, so how'd you get these artists then? How you finding your artists to do this show?
So primarily, Rico actually reached out to the majority of the artists. It's two people in particular I reached out to. It's a guy named Derek McKenzie Jr. He's a very, very, very talented artist in Birmingham, Alabama. He's been doing it now for about, I think I want to say 2 years.
Right.
And I know he's like ex-military. And his story just inspired me, you know what I'm saying? So I always like to see him grow and how he grows. And so I reached out to him and said, hey, man, would you like to be the host of this show? And we advocate for it. At the same time, you know, be able to push your purpose. He was like, you know, I'd love to do that, man. You know, he's a very respectful guy. So
So the event for Visual Paradise, is it just an event with artists, or are you trying to get, you know, outside audience in as well?
Of course, yeah. So basically we're doing it for Arts and Humanities Month.
Mm-hmm.
And the goal is to basically just reach out to people and show them that, hey, this art community does care about you, so we're trying to put a good product behind it. And the goal is to basically, you know, do specific podcasts like this and also other radio shows, like we're on the Joe Likas Show Sunday on radio. And he has a great show, by the way. But they basically just give them the tools they need to show them how it can be once you start advocating for yourself, and you know how you should be able to represent a brand, represent yourself, be able to work in partnership and cohesion to be able to go to a more beneficial goal in the long run.
I got you. So tell me more about what is your role in all this. You say you do a bit of marketing, branding. So I hear that thrown around a lot. Sometimes I hear from people who know what they're doing. Sometimes I hear people just throw it around, you know, like a flashy word, act like they know what they're talking about. Yeah. So, yeah, it's true, though. We're laughing, but, you know, it's true. I hear people, a lot of young guys, they say, oh, I'm in marketing. What the fuck are you marketing? I need to know how exactly are you getting this guy from point A to point B, point C. Yeah. So I'd like to hear your thoughts more on exactly what is your definition of marketing, I guess, and what you do. Mm-hmm. What do you do for a specific artist or client to get them from point A, point B?
To point B.
Yes,
okay,
sir.
Cool. So I'm going to break down these two fundamental terms, okay? So a lot of times you have to humanize things, and it's too many jargony words like marketing and branding, and like, right?
Yes.
But how do you break those down? So you'd say, okay, well, branding is the initial response to what you would say about me, right? For say you're meeting me, or for example, you see a Honda and it's red, it's shiny, right? I like this Honda, it's red, it's shiny. That's what you say, and it makes me feel good. It excites me. I want this car. I like it, right? So it's a feeling. So we as humans do what we feel, think, and do, right? In marketing, this is where you have marketing. The contrasting point is you have awareness, consideration, engagement. Awareness is parallel to feel, right? Mm-hmm. Consideration is awareness. Is consideration is to think, right? Parallels with think, and then you have do, right? Where retainment, okay, which is the do part, right? So this would be conversion more so. Awareness, consideration, engagement. And so therefore, those, when you look at those from a parallel perspective, you then see, okay, well, this is why I act the way I act when I see an ad, right? Or this is the way I react to these shoes that I see online. It's because someone said, hey, do it during this time. This is when these people are going to get off work. So a lot of things are very strategic. And so branding is like basically what you would say about me, and marketing is what I want you to say. So yeah.
So marketing is more of the...
Or what I want you to do.
If I get it, marketing is more of the mechanics behind it.
It's more database, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And branding is more of the... Aesthetics and, you know, what we... Message. You know, what we find pretty. Yeah. That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So do you do, like, the combination of both, like, taking the brand and then making it marketable?
Yes. So basically it's the fundamentals of building the brand. So I'm not some major designer or nothing like that. It's mainly the mindset. It's the thought processes on how you should develop something. So it's more so creating the wordage, creating how you should communicate about it. What's the dialogue? What's the narrative? How are you going to be able to ask the question that's going to get the right audience to be able to react to a specific said thing, term, storyline, movie, whatever.
Okay, and this is something you do for your artist, or do you? I'm assuming they also have to know some of the lingo, or know how to sort of brand themselves and market themselves in a sense, or do they just hire you and in sense that you're basically doing all of that?
Well, honestly, man, I'm the type of person where I care more about the end goal than the initial upfront capital. Upfront capital is for like well-established businesses, but for someone who is working to better themselves in their career, who doesn't know the knowledge, how can I benefit with that person opposed to benefit from that person? So I think it's a different perspective when you have to work, you have to meet people at their level. And so I'm not one to take advantage of people when it comes down to.
Oh, okay. I wasn't putting it as you taking advantage.
Well, no. I'm just saying because this market is so like the wording is so weird. Sometimes it's like so like smoky, so you don't know what you're really getting into. And I know that this market isn't necessarily the most professional market. So.
Yeah, that's my thing about it, man. Is we're gonna get into Birmingham for a bit. Is
not right now.
Not right now. You won't get into it right now.
No. Let's stay on topic.
Let's stay on topic. I told you we'll get off topic every now and then. It's just the way conversation goes, brother.
Yeah, cool.
So did you go to school? You go to school
man,
for this?
Yeah, I did go to school, man. So basically, I went to school in Mid-South Arkansas, West Memphis, Arkansas, a small city, man. It's like a tri-state city in the middle. So what?
How'd you end up in Alabama there, man? If you went,
I'm from here.
Oh, you're from here, so you went to school in Arkansas, so you came back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Came back here, and I came back here. I caught pneumonia. Right.
Okay.
I wanted to play ball, and I wanted to start my own business, and I was like, you're young, you're 18, 19 years old, you don't really know what to do.
Right.
So you're trying to figure it out. And at the point of trying to figure this stuff out, I was like, just trying to make it happen. So I got through school, and then I ended up catching pneumonia, moved back to Birmingham, Alabama, got myself back together, and then I went to school at Snead State, which is a very small city, another smaller city.
I've never heard of it. So
yeah. And it's a pretty cool town. It's chill.
I got you. So what other avenues are you trying to do to sort of push Visual Paradise?
So right now we're creating this experience where we want to, plan for artists can go and talk to podcasts. We are talking with some of the news stations that are actually going to come at the show, and also we're aiming to get on Good Morning America. To be able to, not Good Morning America, Good Morning Birmingham, and basically get on the show and just advocate more about the product. So we're trying to, touch all of our cylinders, touch all our demographics, so that way, there's a very responsive message for the platform.
And since art is extremely subjective, everyone views things very differently.
Yeah.
What is your plan in sense to get to the audience that might not necessarily be interested in the art aspect of things? Your regular folk that got a job, they got to take care of the kids. They're not too concerned on the art part.
Well, we're trying our best to put together a well-filmed experience. So we've shot a couple of little documentary clips or some behind-the-scenes, some interview clips. We also have some advertising clips for people to actually come, encourage people to come to the show and inform them more about the show. So I really think that decision is based on just having the right information, having the information presented in a way that is not too forceful. It's more like, hey, this is where we are. If you like it, come check it out, more so.
And it's funny that you say forceful because it reminds me of when I was up in New York for a bit. People they still hand out CDs. So instead of them being there sitting, hey, I got a CD, they try to shove it on you. It's like, hey, good, take my CD.
Yeah. So it's very dense. It's very dense up there. So think about how many people walk by. You know what I'm saying? It's a very dense city. It's like 10,000 people on one corner.
Just dropping CDs in people's bags.
Yeah, and no one gives a shit about CDs anymore, man. I just find it funny.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you, Josh?
I still buy a CD, but it has to be like an artist I want to support. If I'm not just downloading it on Apple Music or Spotify.
So you are a fan of memorabilia?
Yeah, I'll pre-order a record. I've spent a lot of money before on a Coheed pre-ordered. Get the box with the helmet.
Oh, dude, yeah. I almost bought a vinyl of Liquid Swords just for the hell of it.
Hey, man.
Even though I have it on MP3, my iTunes, it's just a cool little piece of thing I wanted. RZA, Jizza, Liquid Swords, just to have it there. I don't even have a fucking record player.
I want to see that. I don't even know what you're talking about right now.
Vinyl, yeah, like record player.
A Liquid Sword.
Liquid Swords. It's a RZA Jizza album, 1995 Wu-Tang Clan.
I didn't know that.
It's all good.
See, you learn something new every day.
It's all good. It's just a few rappers. That's all.
Okay, cool.
It's just a couple rappers. And let's see what else I got on this list. So for most of your artists, I mean, how does Rico or they go about selecting them? Because you eventually, this sounds cruel, you're gonna have to get to a point where you separate the cream from the trash. I don't know how to explain it any better. Because you do get a lot of, I mean, in the music industry, right? We get a lot of rappers say, "Oh, I'm the next big thing," and they just fucking suck.
Yeah.
Like there's no way around it. So what's your process of just separating?
Oof. So again, brand, right? So
right.
we definitely reached out to some talented individuals that we felt like didn't have the proper recognition. And we feel like, just giving them proper recognition, proper tools to be able to add a skill set to themselves, then they wouldn't have to be in that category. Because a lot of it's just personality. You can be a bad artist, but if people like you, then they probably
that sells all day, man.
you know what I'm saying? So
if you have that larger than life ego, basically, like I feel like with artists, they have to sell their character.
Yeah.
Like there's the person, and then there's when they're on stage.
Yeah, exactly.
I see. So you look at it more from their product. You look at them as well.
The whole experience. So what I tell, for example, music artists, I say, hey, look, the way you communicate is different from the way you dress. The way you dress is different from your music. The way you act. If you like, for example, if some Bow Wow is in a movie, he acts better than he raps. Like it's just a matter.
Ain't that the truth?
I mean, I like Bow Wow. I like Bow Wow. I just said Bow Wow. I like Bow Wow. I mean, he's a good guy. So, but when you look at it like that, it's just you have to learn how to separate the different entities.
Yeah, I try to tell my artists that when I'm working with them, like you may be in a band, but if you're trying to take it to the next level, you become a brand. Yeah. It's not just about what you're
put art in there.
Yeah, it's not just about your music. Like it's a whole package, and a lot of new artists don't seem to understand.
They get stuck in the product, right?
Yeah, the music. Like it's got to be about the music, man. It's not, man. It's about how you look, how you talk, how you deliver what you're doing. The album, the shows are like a very,
sound
very
like an A&R. You in the wrong profession, right?
Yeah. Hey, when you in what I do, you got to be the A&R guy.
Nah, I feel you, man.
Yeah.
So when's the deadline for the show again? I think you told me, but
October 13th.
October 13th.
Well, early bird tickets are on right now.
Okay.
They're $10. We're running the promotion for the next 2 weeks, and then after that, it's gonna be $15 at the door.
Where can they find those early bird tickets?
Eventbrite.
.com, .gov?
.com.
Okay.
.gov. Oh, don't go there. Don't go there. Don't go there, please.
So,
come join us.
So what venue you guys got rented out for the event?
So right now we're working with Lux Lounge. It's on a Sunday. The event's on a Sunday.
Okay.
So October 13th from 5 to 9 o'clock. Like I said, early bird tickets $10. At the door at $15. But Lux Lounge gave us the opportunity to be able to provide an experience that was totally different from what they usually kind of do. So we want to come in and provide more of like a classical, jazz, soul, eclectic, more so, visual type of experience where you can come in and communicate with artists that have gone through this experience, which is exciting because, you get to see people grow, which is probably the best part when it comes down to marketing, branding, and going through those specific exercises to teach people how to be the product they want to be or be the person they want to be. I hate to say product like that, but, that's just how it is.
It just is.
It is. I didn't make this world. So
I'm just living in it.
I'm just living in it, right?
Yep.
So, and that is the end goal that we're trying to get to, right? Because this is just one of many, but we want to make sure that the first one is somewhat decent. And I've made a lot of mistakes when it comes down to doing shows, so I know what not to do more so than what to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Doing stuff like that is definitely screwing up quite a few times before you get the recipe right.
Oh, yeah,
doing shows that I have mad respect for people who put on events because that is so stressful.
Yeah.
And trying to promote and everybody's like, quit posting about this, man. I will when the event's over.
Exactly.
Sorry, I'm doing my job.
Yeah,
and that's why you have to separate. Another thing, in business, something I tell a lot of people: always separate yourself from your brand. Try to do that as much as possible, because people that associate the brand with the person, your energy. Everybody's energy is not the same all the time. It's not everybody's energy is not consistent. Always happy. You may have a bad day where somebody sees you, but they got some type of leak that can happen. And you'll be like, oh, I didn't like his personality, and then it trickles down, and you're like, whatever, right? Especially in this small market. But if you separate the business from yourself and just let the business grow on its own, then people be recognize the business. Then once you like the business, then they're probably more prone to liking you such and such. It's like a selfless type of approach.
I'm still a little bit lost on that. I'm a little bit dumb, so you're
Oh
gonna
my
have to
God.
put it down in dumb people terms a bit.
Sorry, Aunt's only in Cal 3 right now.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
His brain's a little melted at the moment.
So I kind of see what you mean. I guess I'm viewing it from a life perspective that, hey, you want to keep your work at work, keep that shit away from home.
Yeah, exactly. Basically, that's basically it.
That's a hard lesson to learn too.
Yeah.
Like a very hard lesson to learn.
Yeah.
To try to separate everything, because like in the music, man, you know, you got the studio you go to, and then you have your home set up,
Yep.
and it's like,
Yeah.
how do you? That's something I even struggle with now. Is how do I separate myself?
Yeah.
So when I go home, I can play my PlayStation
Yeah.
and not feel like
Yeah.
I need to be doing something.
Yeah.
We
How you
got some
doing, brother?
pre-roll.
Okay,
and
we're
then
back.
We can get
So
back
we were
going.
talking about learning when to slow down and take a break, right? In the sense of having you separate yourself from the brand.
It's very important. So, when you're providing, think about this: when you're starting a business, the main priority is to service the customer. You know, who are you making this business for, and what are you going to do to provide an experience for them that's going to be of value? You know, and I think that's the most important thing, because you talking about yourself all day is not really fascinating. You know,
Nah,
it's not really fascinating.
and it's something people love doing. No matter how big or small their ego is, everyone loves talking about themselves to some extent. So what exactly? Because I understand what growth is in terms of musical standpoint or business. How exactly are you measuring growth for an artist? What venues do they have to generate revenue or gain notoriety? You know.
Okay, so being an artist or a visual artist, let's say a visual artist or a painter, right? The route that majority should take is, of course, you have your vendor section. Make sure you're contacting most of the festivals, let's say concerts or some type of street walk type of festival or deal, right? Or let's say you want to attach yourself to a specific industry. Let's say your work can probably potentially go to an architect and work with an architect. And an architect is like putting up multiple buildings. They need like multiple canvases. Like you can attach yourself to an architect that makes 5% off the contract, and he can pay you probably like 0.5% of what he gets, right? So,
Right.
or whatever the case is, but at least that's like a good check for you. So if you could attach yourself to the correct industry, imagine, just the profitability you could have just getting more traction. I think that's more beneficial to visual artists more so than just going and trying to sell stickers at the gas station or something. Like, I don't know.
Right, because I mean, honestly, man, for a while I was thinking, okay, art's cool and all, but I didn't know until now. It's like, what exactly can they do to make money besides just sell paintings,
Yeah.
slap it on stickers, and pray to God they get picked up by a company or whatever?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Set design,
Set
There's
design. Tell me
clothing.
about that. Oh,
Like painters can do anything. If you can paint, you can do anything. So
I know car companies, when they're designing a car, they
Yeah.
need artists as well.
you need the initial design. So typically you have artists that fit specific industries. You have some artists that do like, what is it, surrealism, right? Looks like a dream. You have some artists that do like a very abstract and angry work. They may take something and do like throw something that looks like anger. You know what I'm saying? They may throw some glass on it that they shattered from a mason jar, something like that. So
Man, it's interesting though, because art's so subjective, and when the company is trying to hire, it's I guess they're just going off of what they're looking for at the time. So I guess
what they're marketing at the
Right.
time.
So I guess it'd just be along the lines of what, contract work in that sense.
Yeah, representing yourself as someone that can give them add to their vision of what they have. Yeah.
Okay. Have there been any good marketing experiences you had
With painters.
with anything actually? Because you said with anything.
Yeah, of course. So, the reason why I chose to stay in this market is because my first client, when I first got into marketing, was in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and Fort Wayne, Indiana is something similar to Birmingham, in the market and not the personality, but the market, as far as like the way it's conditioned, things like that, as far as business, right? So there's this one business called Grade A Tattoos. The owner's name is Clyde Thatcher. Clyde Thatcher he's a young professional. At the time, he was 37, family guy, Latino guy, And he was very, 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 very family driven, right? He's like, man, I want to do this for my family, So I was like, man, his son was a little entrepreneur, he's a little hustler. He always tried to ask me $5 to, I give you some information. You know what I'm saying? I tell you how you deal with my daddy. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, whatever, dude, whatever. But I gave him this process, the operational process, my first operational process that I had put together, and it was basically he had 16 employees that did tattoos, right? Tattoos and piercings, and they were literally like not visible on Instagram or social media or Facebook. And in that process, he had 3 locations, and he was making like $800,000 a year.
Dang.
Already, right? He did laser printing, not laser printing, I'm tripping, laser removal, all right? Oh. And he did piercing, and he did tattoos. Okay. He had 16 guys, right? So you're making like probably, let's say 40%, 50% of what they're generating, right? That's pretty good. So we're like, okay, well, cool. He's like, yeah, man, but we're slow in the wintertime. We're slow all year. And I just looked at where the world was going. It's just fundamental. Like I said, just simple fundamental things. I said, what are people doing every day? Okay, they're on social media. They're doing this. They're doing this. I'm like, okay, look, you got 16 employees, all right? I said, what's the problem you have with some of your employees? He was like, yeah, some of them don't listen. I said, how many? He's like, yeah, but 3 or 4. I said, all right, cool. I said, if you can get everybody to start taking pictures before and after or just after, right? Put hashtags of the company or whatever the case is. And I ended up giving like 20 hashtags you can just go with. And then I said, if you get them to post every time you do a tattoo, I said, your business is going to double, maybe triple. He said, that's it. I said, you don't have to spend any money on advertising. Because we were already doing his website. We had already did his logo. We had already made his copy. He had already done his pictures. And I was like, look, when you do this, it's going to spread. We're going to have a website. They're going to come to the website, and they're going to love your brand because it's going to look good. It's going to look sleek, professional, and it's going to look before its time. Especially in this market, because they literally like, even though it was like a bunch of, let's say, talented tattoo artists, nobody was making great logos at the time, right? That could convert to traffic, right? So he ended up doing that. That month later, we went back and followed up with him. He fired 4 people.
The 4 troublemakers?
The 4 troublemakers. He fired 4 of them. Those next 9 months, this guy ended up making $1.8 million.
And that's the crazy thing, man.
And he didn't tell us. I didn't find out until the next year after.
He wanted to hide it from you, man.
So that was I learned from that big burn, but yeah.
It's all good, man. But, man, it's crazy, man, how social media seems to have just taken over. It's taken, it's a method of distribution now, in a way. So now you don't even have to pay for distribution for the most part. You can just go on social media because it's free. Instagram's free.
Very free.
It only costs time and a few brain cells, but
a couple dopamine hits.
Or worse.
Oh my god. Do explain.
Man, I was wondering, sometimes I see people, they do a lot of hashtags, but sometimes I wonder how effective they actually are, because sometimes I'll see posts, they'll throw up 50 hashtags and, no one gives a shit. I mean,
they work.
Yeah.
They do?
On that Discover page.
Yeah, they work.
That's where they come in. It's the Discover page.
I guess when it starts getting a lot of likes, it just kind of snowballs, and then it gets pushed up to the front. I'm guessing that's what happens.
Yeah, it's like it's a hard. The Instagram algorithm is kind of weird, but I mean, people hack it and then are just rolling in like
growth hacking.
Yeah,
growth hacking is a thing.
Yeah, like. It's the same as Spotify. Like, you can manipulate the Spotify algorithm to push your music, and then it'll snowball. Yeah. That's what all those Instagram people who are making like $10 million a year, and all they do is take a picture and post ads.
Man, isn't it crazy that people are making money just off Instagram, dude?
No, it makes sense.
It's cool in a way, but it's crazy just thinking about, wow, I could just literally just sit on my phone. And that's the crazy thing about it.
Well, I mean, what's the difference in your phone and sitting on a computer all day?
Well, I consider them both the same thing.
Yeah,
in a way.
Well, nowadays it's the same thing, but like back in the Nokia day.
Back in the Nokia day.
Boost Mobile day.
Boost Mobile.
BlackBerry.
Travis Barker hadn't broken his collarbone.
T-Mobile flip phones, right? With the snowball game.
Oh, what was the coolest phone? The Razor?
The Razor sold so much product. The Razor, like Motorola, that's got to still be their most successful phone.
Man,
they said they came back out with it, though. and it was like selling for like $1,500.
You're right. I remember they tried to do it again, and it was nowhere. It flopped pretty hard.
Flopped, yeah, I heard about it one day, and didn't hear about it anymore.
Today
I heard about it.
Kind of like Jerry Epstein. You heard about him one day, and now you don't hear about him anymore. Oh,
Joel? Is it
Epstein?
Epstein? Is it Jerry?
Is it Jerry? I might have fucked up again. Let me see.
It's Joel.
Come on, Google.
No, that might be Joel Osteen.
Oh, man. Joel
Osteen.
What did he do?
What are we talking about?
He's the preacher, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
That
I'm
guy.
talking about Epstein.
I can't remember his first name.
I think it's Jerry. Hang on.
Jerry.
It's the guy who killed himself. It was all over the news, and then it
Yeah,
just
yeah,
and
in
I never heard
Oh,
about him
the
again.
guy who was like a billionaire, but he was like trafficking kids.
Oh yeah, he
Yeah.
said he said if you take me out of prison, I'm gonna tell the world about who's in on this shit with me. And then it looks
died.
like he strangled himself with his hands. The fuck? He did what?
Yeah.
And the guard said, "Oh no, we just watched him do it."
Wow.
What's $5,000 to a guard like them who doesn't make that much money?
Yeah, you never know.
I don't know.
It'd be like that sometimes.
It do be like
It's
that
a world
sometimes.
beyond us right now.
And that's the crazy thing, right? Is we're nowhere near that level of wealth or power, and we'll never know what happens to them.
And that'll stay circulating with the same people.
It will.
Yeah, it's a very
That
weird situation.
It's a cool thing though to see good marketing takes a nobody and just shoots
them up.
Shoots it
Yeah,
up.
like
You know, it goes back to what you're saying about growth hacking. It's the anonymous, everyday, open-end, closed phrases. Did I say that? Open-ended phrases. Open-ended. Correct? Is that the right word?
yeah, open-ended phrases,
Perfect. See,
like an open-ended question.
exactly, yeah. So you would say, like, to leave the narrative open, right? For example, it could be like Arthur with his fist clenched. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
when you don't get the new Smash Bros. Or something like that. I don't know. Right? And then, like, your fist is balled up. You're like, this is funny. Right? And then, like, you start sharing it to your friends, and it's super relatable because everybody does it. It's a thing I call subconscious marketing, right? Which is a thing, right? That's what marketing is. It's that thing that makes you tick. Like in music, for example, like you do music, right, Josh?
Yeah,
It's the subconscious part of the song. They'd be like, oh, I cannot wait till it gets to this part. And this is everybody's part. Like, weirdly, this is like everybody's favorite part, right? So it's about having that favorite thing that you like to experience.
Some big brain galaxy stuff
That's
right now.
right.
I'm here. Big brain stuff.
I was thinking of that meme while he was talking about
Yeah, I
it.
know. It's crazy. We're
Like,
talking about-
the head kept getting further and further. It's like at the end of Gurren Lagann when they're throwing galaxies at each other.
Oh my god! Oh, you watch Gurren Lagann too, bro? The final battle is so ridiculous. They're just throwing universe. They're just what the fuck is going on?
I so hate they stopped that series, bro.
They had to. There was nowhere to go after that one. Nowhere to go.
Where else you gonna go? You're throwing galaxies at each other. Where else can you go?
Oh, man.
You can't get any bigger from that.
Me, like, comedy is the best at, like, throwing out people to getting them famous, like, because, memes and just, like,
Yeah.
a good joke attached to whatever it is you're trying to do goes so far.
What rappers have made it just off being memes?
6ix9ine, Pump,
6ix9ine.
Blueface,
You got this.
Trippie Redd, like the Yachty, any of them dudes that are like that new age emo trap stuff
Yeah.
are all in the like Juice WRLD's latest album is a PS1 game. Like that's some next level like thinking.
Yeah.
Say what you want about their music. their
Yeah,
branding and marketing people are
It's genius.
need a raise.
Oh, bad. What the fuck's her name?
Bad Baby. Yeah, Bad Baby.
Yeah, from a Dr. Phil show. Basically, was a meme, and she made a career out of it.
Yeah, she's killing it, man. I feel like her mother knew what she was doing.
The Dr.
Her mother
The Dr.
knew what
Phil
she was doing,
people
bro.
are hilarious.
Yeah.
Did you see the Batman guy?
Oh, I didn't.
A dude kept wearing a Batman mask like at all times.
Wow.
And he went on Dr. Phil and now he has like a YouTube channel. He streams all the time. Like that's what he does.
Yeah.
He's become Batman.
No, he's chilled out. He's like let that kind of die and he's moving on. But he definitely used that as a catalyst to be an online personality.
That's funny because it makes me think like, what is his day like when he gets off the camera? Right? He's like, you know what? Did you like get into like some type of deep, like
I don't know,
Batman mode? He's like
Rachel, where's the trigger? Where's the big beats?
But comedy, that's like the best. Everybody likes to laugh. If it's funny, it'll take off.
Yeah,
for sure. Like a quick meme, like you can make a post, and it could be the most obscure joke, and if like people start Reddit, if it gets on Reddit, it's over.
It's over. Yeah. Reddit's gonna tear you apart. Reddit's like a more professional Twitter. Like, it's like,
but if it's good, and if it's good, and Reddit pushes it, you can go
Reddit
super far.
Reddit gonna get people talking.
Man,
it's like 4chan.
4chan will rip people apart. Do you remember that time?
I tried not to get on 4chan.
Yo, you remember when they pushed that cut for Bieber shit? Oh my god! Holy shit!
That was the time.
Yeah, and there were people in my school who were actually cutting for Bieber. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you people, man? They also what did 4chan do? They also did something about. I think they had to do something with the bombing too.
No, that was Reddit. Reddit found like going through pictures of a bombing and like found out who did it. Like if you put Reddit on it, things will happen, good or bad. Something will happen. I think 4chan did this something similar. Like something had happened, and like people on 4chan just like dove into it and solved some mystery.
Our good old 4chan detectives. I think the last thing. Who's that guy who screams "Just do it"? What's that?
Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, he kept.
That's one of my favorite actors, bro.
Like, I'm gonna tell you a funny story about him. All right, so. Apparently, when he was doing the camera things about, after Trump got elected and he said,
he will not divide us.
Yeah. Reddit kept tracking him down wherever he went. It got so ridiculous to the point where he was doing a live stream in an undisclosed location and somebody in Reddit said, look at the stars. And then he tracked them based off the pattern of the stars on the time.
Wow.
And then there was also one time where he got tracked in a random place in France based off a species of butterfly that was only in France. I'm telling you,
keyboard warriors have a lot of time.
Them keyboard detectives, man.
Man,
Google.
The FBI had those guys.
They probably do have those guys.
Yeah, they have. Man, I don't want to think about the government. The people who, because that happens. Like if you're good with computers, they'll come find you and be like, you're gonna work for us.
Hey, man.
There's no yes or no. It's you have a job and this is what you're doing now.
Yeah, exactly, man.
And now it's
I feel like coders are like the new assassins. I feel like the new trained ninjas.
Oh my god, dude! I just figured out how easy it is to bring back a piece of data just from even if they delete it off the drive, it still leaves a bit of a trace.
Yeah, teach me that.
Yeah, that's a useful skill because I have a hard drive that crashed and I need to get something off.
I'm sorry, it doesn't work on Linux or Unix.
That's a model you can actually like sell to like big corporations because they have issues where like let's say for example something happens with the server, whatever the case is, and they may have a tech team, whatever the case is, but like I know for a fact that people mess up every day.
Data recovery is business.
I think they call it
is a fat business.
I think it's actually called like emergency recovery systems or something, where they literally have a guy who's just there to fix the shit.
Especially in the legal world, like if there's like documents getting pulled and it's like, oh, so what happened? You know what I'm saying? It's like, it gets serious.
Data recovery and cybersecurity are the things popping off right now, like because everybody's getting like it.
It's like buying steel. Like you need it. Like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, getting hacked is especially when you're dealing with credit card information or personal data. Man, if you get hacked, that's an ender right there. Like the fact that Equifax is still a thing blows my mind. They've been hacked twice within the past like 2 years.
Yeah,
and they've had like not 500,000. It was more than that. It was a lot. A lot of people's data got breached, like social security cards, basic information. It ranged, but people. But in the end, like even if you have high tech security, if somebody wants your information, they will get it. Like if they're determined, they will get it.
Some companies they have teams where they hire them to break into their system, basically. Both physical
to
and
buffer
digital.
it. Yeah.
I think it's like red teaming or something, or white hat. but they basically get contracted on to break into their system or break into their building and just cause as much damage as possible.
Who? It was a company recently that happened to.
They got hacked?
Yeah. It was very horrible.
I can't, man. There have been so many.
I know what you're talking about, but it's
Yeah.
just not hitting my mind right now.
It's not in my mind.
Nothing's hitting my mind right now.
We tried, guys.
We're trying.
It's hard. It's
Comment
hard
below. Let us know what you know.
I'd be surprised if someone actually sat through. I think a couple of my friends sat through a few whole episodes.
I listened to a whole episode while I was trying to upload it when my internet was not as fast.
Internet was on that East African DSL.
What was it?
What?
You used to say West Kenyan?
Yeah, I used to say my internet was like the server was in West Kenya.
And then I gave him a router.
Oh my god.
Like a halfway decent router.
Yo, that router actually helped me a ton.
Dude, that's the game. You gotta go with the 2-piece. Get a modem. Don't get the modem router. Get a modem and then get a nice router.
Oh,
You get a nice router, yeah.
And then your ISP will still throttle your speeds.
Hang on, we've gone off the fucking rails. Let's go back to Joshua. We're back to Joshua right now, man. Asking him some more questions. Actually, I don't even know
It's
him.
good to be human sometimes.
Yeah, it is.
It's
Got
good
a tangent.
Yeah.
I had a question. So the event is the 13th.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen like any do you do the analytics? Like, do you look at like how things trend?
Yeah, we
through
look at
search and stuff?
we look at the analytics and we see who reacts to what the most. And right now we're getting a lot of traction off of our mainly from women. You know, we thought that we get
That's not surprising.
Yeah, women like art. Women like art. They like music. You know, they
Dudes in Bama,
yeah.
if it doesn't have the roll tide.
Women
on
make
it.
decisions. Like women make the decisions in whatever you do. Like women just make everything 10 times better, right? So I feel like you know, if they like this product, it's a new product, right? You know, and I think that you guys got to check it out though. I don't know if you guys seen it or not, but we're running ads right now on it right now, and we're basically like conveying what the story is and just like getting to know the artist a little bit better. And we're gonna be dropping content like every day or so, giving everybody an insight more on each artist. And we're gonna be running multiple ads on those, so it's definitely gonna be a good experience. So keep a lookout.
What are you running like Facebook and Instagram ads?
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about using those? I've seen people use them to very successful to just like they're wasting their money.
Now it's the thing. So Facebook is funny. So there's like this like promotion thing. People click promote and it's like a little. Everything in the background is gray and there's like a little small block. Like don't do that one. like don't do that one.
Why not do that?
Yeah,
one?
don't do that one. Yeah,
You're laughing about it.
It's because Facebook has the multiple layers in the back end of it that can actually give you correct data on your market in your area. That's very, very, very accurate. Right? It's probably the most accurate marketing like software.
Well,
like,
I mean, Facebook
period.
has all your information anyway.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
do.
you know your best friend. Like you know what I'm saying. So yeah, so that it's called Facebook Insights, and you have Facebook Business Manager or Facebook Ad Manager. And so those are the two platforms that you really need to like go and learn. And Facebook actually has like an institution like in there. Most big companies like Google or let's say even Bing has a way to use the search engine. You know
Man,
what I'm saying?
I forgot all about Bing.
It's there. It's still there.
Yeah, it's like
It's doing what it does.
Yeah, it's
I don't know what it does though.
oh,
It's doing
you want to
that.
know what it does?
Yeah.
I don't know if I should say
Sells
that.
our information to China.
Probably.
Czechoslovakia.
I thought that was Google.
It's for those late night warriors.
Oh shit!
Check the stats, bro. I'm serious. It's like 90% late night warriors.
That's hilarious.
I know, like in Facebook, if from the little bit of research I'd done, Facebook gives you all the keys
Everything.
to be successful. Like,
Yeah.
if you just take like an hour
Yeah.
and craft it, it can be very successful. But I feel like a lot of people when they see ads on Facebook are just like, oh, another ad.
Well, it depends on the storyline. So what I tell people all the time, the more time you like watch video, it's like what 78% of people like watching video more than like looking at posters. It's a little different, right?
Yeah.
So I'll watch one of those little ads. Be like, hey man, if you follow me for $1,000 and I'll sign you up and you can run. I even like watching those just for fun. Like I'm just like, let me see what this guy's talking about. Whatever.
Oh yeah,
I liked the Ty Lopez just out here sitting in my garage
he
with my
created
new
a story.
Lamborghini.
He just baited you in.
Yeah.
He leased them motherfuckers.
I know,
Everyone
but
knew
I
he
mean,
leased
it was
them. But
still-
it was still fun.
It was
Yeah.
still funny. Like I knew he was memeing on me.
Yeah.
Yo, it's
He
like-
was memeing on me.
Yo, it's like watching a train wreck waiting to happen.
Yeah, or a car accident. You drive by and you're just like,
oh,
I'm
no.
gonna be in an accident, but I gotta look and see what happened.
But the thing with the advertising process, it's a thing called conditioning the market. and it's basically getting people familiar with what you got going on. Make sure it's consistent. So you can run an ad for like a week and be like, oh, it's not working. Okay, well, that's because people don't trust you. You know what I'm saying? So if you watch, for example, you're going to watch Ty Lopez long enough, you're going to be like, man, let me click this link. Go to the website. Like,
let me see what this is about.
Let me put my information in.
So Ty Lopez, in a sense, is conditioning in his advertisement.
It's conditioning. In the circulation, for example, if you spend, let's say, $10,000 on ads and you condition the market, but your product's like $500, you spend $10,000 on ads, you're touching, let's say, 1 million people. That's 1 million people you can touch over a span of time, right? And then they also have this thing called custom fields, where, for example, if someone watches your video for the first 25%, then the next video you do, if they watch 10% of that video, then you go into a custom funnel, where then you can then go into a field where I can retarget you, and now you got the little placement ad on the bottom where you're looking at it all day long. And that,
okay.
Yeah.
So it's the initial hooking them.
Yes.
So how do you get the people that you're not hooking? So like you have the people that are watching a quarter or all of the video, or like, so at least a quarter of it to all of it, you can retarget
So
them.
Facebook guarantees 3% conversion that'll basically do business with your event leading up to the day, right? Or anything. So it's 3% market penetration. So if you spend $10,000 or you spend $10,000 with your product's like $100, let's say you get 300 people. Yeah. So you make your money. You make your money back. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
that's the ordeal is be able to have confidence in what you're doing, the right plan, and being able to execute it. Because it may not be successful. Like, let's be honest, it may not be successful, right? So you can't rely on advertising. Advertising is just one part of the market. The next part of the market is like, hey, I actually have to talk to people. Like now, like, so
being personable, being an actual human. Yeah, exactly. This is not some intangible or inanimate object.
Well, I guess we can kind of compare that to rappers who only have their career on SoundCloud. They don't do any shows, right? They don't do anything. They're in
SoundCloud rappers.
They're in the SoundCloud realm, as we call it.
The live show is. That's a harder concept nowadays because it's like, do I want to go to a show? It's interesting. Like, I have noticed a decline in going to concerts. Like, I could go to this show, but my friend's going, and I know they're just going to post it on their Instagram story. Yeah. So, like, why go when I could just watch it on their phone, like in poor quality? But like, people are really like that. They're like, I'll just follow their Instagram stories. Yeah, getting people to shows is insanely hard.
It's very hard.
Do you think it has a good return on investment for them showing up, or not as much as you used to?
It depends.
What kind of show? For
if
anything from audiovisual, any show. Let's say anything.
It boils down to if you're doing like a concert. We'll keep it there. A concert. Yeah. And you have an indie band. Kind of like whatever's popping off right now, like Coin or that type of band. Then you have like a more emo indie band, and then if you have like all three, if you have a lineup that's very similar, it doesn't do as well. Now, if you have like an indie band, a rapper, a singer songwriter, and then like a heavier act, like that does. From what I've seen on those like types of tours, they do better because you're not listening to basically the same thing for a couple hours. You get a bit of variety. Those shows do better. Now, don't be too extreme. Don't pull Blink-182 and Lil Wayne like that. That the idea is good, but it's too soon to try to do something that extreme.
That reminded me of that when the Roots had a show here, but the opener was Luke Bryan. You remember that?
I mean, that I feel like stuff like that pulls into like you need to market into different camps. Like, Lil Wayne almost quit that tour because it wasn't his vibe. Because I mean,
it's too corporate.
Well, I feel like he shouldn't have went on tour with Blink-182 because like they're gonna pull way more than he's gonna pull. Like because Blink tours arenas. And that's basically it now. Like, they only play in arenas.
But that's good for him, though, because I know he was doing a rock thing at the time.
Yeah, and they're just doing it. I don't know if they're still on tour, but like the crowd wasn't really like vibing with him, and I don't know if that's just because Lil Wayne's not the greatest like live.
He's not.
The rappers that I've seen live that really pop off are the dudes who just go hard the whole time.
Travis Scott. Right now, DaBaby is my favorite rapper ever right now. Like,
his last record slaps. I listened to it.
His vocals are like out of this world. Like
I haven't heard it yet,
dude.
DaBaby.
You need to listen to DaBaby.
I can't wait to book him.
I think he's the new.
He's
He's like the new Ludacris. I feel
way better than Ludacris.
Well, no, I'm just talking about like his music videos.
Yeah,
or that like kind of.
I agree. I get that.
Very like Ludacris, Slim Shady.
Yeah,
like that type of kind of meme.
His music videos are like the best. Like,
oh, they're so funny.
They're so good, bro.
Which makes me wonder how much of a role we were talking about memes earlier, right?
Yeah, and
saying how they were kind of effective marketing, branding tools. Makes you wonder how much of a role does humor actually have nowadays into
it's massive. Like if you do something that's funny, people will follow you.
Yeah, so it's like this. So I was watching one of these big marketer guys, right? I don't remember people's names. I don't remember names. I will tell you this: I am not good with names.
Hi, my name's On Lee.
I know you're
Josh Rashad. This is Josh Ford.
We got the same name.
That's easy.
And this is your friend.
He know my
Rico.
history. But it's like this. So it's four key things that indicate people that may do business with you or like you or follow you, right? So it's like people like to smile, right? They like to laugh, which are two different things. Okay, they like to be inspired, which is number one. And then they like to be informed. If you can do all four, you're a genius. If you can do 2 out of 3 or 1 out of 4, consistently, then you'll be known for that specifically, right? And then that would to call back, that would be the brand approach. Would be that one thing that you're known for, right? So yeah.
And that's funny because now we're going to segue sort of into the Birmingham market and why does it seem so small and why does it seem like it's always dragging its knuckles? Because every time I think of Birmingham, right, I don't know what to think. Is it R&B? Is it gospel? Is it country? Is it underground grungy rap? Is it this weird great value Atlanta hip hop?
Oh my God.
Like what's going on?
Great value.
Because I don't know. Because consistently, Birmingham as a scene, I don't know what it's trying to do.
It doesn't. I feel like it doesn't know what it wants to do.
The only thing I think Birmingham knows what it wants to do is food.
Yeah, it's a very food central place.
Food in the UAB hospital.
I feel like there's not.
Am I not wrong? Like if UAB hospital wasn't there, you think this city be on the map?
Oh my God.
Well, if initially Birmingham had taken the Delta deal.
What's the Delta deal for me and our listeners?
So that massive airport in Atlanta.
Uh-huh.
They offered it to Birmingham first.
Well, the government here didn't want to take it.
Yep.
Our infrastructure sucked at the time.
Oof.
Well, no,
Atlanta's pretty rough too. And some more stuff, but it still sucks.
Yeah,
but we're getting there though. Like we're getting.
Yeah, they should have I feel like they should have taken the airport. I think it would have progressed us faster. Because if we'd have taken that airport, we would be Atlanta. We would be like the Atlanta level.
I don't think people know this, but Alabama is like it is an economically rich city. This is because I don't know if you know this or not, like, but this is like the biggest central import export. Like, how can I put this hub? Where most of the big airport comes out of Florida. You have to go through Alabama to get everywhere else. Right, so imagine how much product is getting dropped off here from Florida that comes off the import, that comes off the boats. So and imagine how much stuff comes from those other places, right? So you got let's say I don't know, Idaho potatoes. You know what I'm saying? Or let's say cardboard boxes. Cardboard boxes come from Detroit, right?
Okay.
Let's say aluminum. Aluminum comes from Pennsylvania and New York, right? So you say, okay, dang, all this. Let's say car parts a lot of it comes from South Carolina and Alabama. Right, but think about this: all those places you have to come through here to go back out there. Because guess what? We are reselling stuff too, as well. See what I'm saying?
Right.
So as well as getting stuff in, because you have to go to Alabama to go everywhere else. That's why they built that freeway bigger than what it was. Because once you get that freeway flowing, you get more import export. Now you got trucks going faster logistically. So you can
which one? Like 65 or
any of them.
I know it was a big deal when I-22 was completed because it's a straight shot Memphis to Birmingham. Once you get on 22, you take that all the way
straight.
Yeah, and then 65 is Birmingham to Indianapolis.
Yeah, that's correct.
Because I'm trying to remember from tour.
Yeah,
there were a lot of interstates.
Yeah, that's kind of ingrained in your memory.
Yeah.
PTSD, whatever you call it. So, man, Josh, why do you think? I guess in terms of art and entertainment, why do you think Birmingham's a little bit? I guess it doesn't seem to have much of a direction. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like the reason why. I'm gonna tell you the reason why.
All right. Spill the beans. Tell us.
Spill the beans. So you ready? We lack a thing called media structure.
Okay.
Right. So it's this thing that I've been kind of like trying to work with a lot of people with to be able to get them to understand. Hey, if we work together, we can get there faster. Like if 100 people can go and lift a boulder, one person can't. You can't do that. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna break your back. But if 100 people can go and do it, then we're gonna get there a little bit faster, and we can all appreciate each other's hard work that we put in equally. So think of I always tell people this. Think of Harlem. Right? I think it was like the 1970s, 80s art renaissance where they actually were starting getting a lot of traction for their filming, their writing, their photography, just arts in general. And then they got a lot of attention from the publications. And then the publications were advertising to the businesses, and the business was like, oh, I want to add it to my business because I'm a business guy. I don't know shit about art. So they started, hey, I got all this money. I'm going to go enjoy art. Cool. So they're like, oh man, I like this. I want to invest in this. I want to see more of this. And then they came a person interest, and now you see it boom. That's why it's the number one media structure right now, right? And so your next place would be what, like say Chicago and California, okay, LA, right? All places that Chicago has a very rich comedy scene, and art scene, right?
Yeah,
comedy, art, music, like it is primarily like it's super good.
I didn't know Chicago had a good comedy scene
and food.
Yeah, a lot of dudes. A lot of stand-up dudes always talk about L.A., the comedy clubs out in L.A.
Boston is one of them, too, I think.
Boston's a really hard place to be.
Yeah, I've heard.
They're going to rip you.
Yeah, it's brutal. Chicago, a lot of good comics have came out of Chicago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think Bill Burr came from Boston, didn't he?
I love Bill Burr.
He's got a new special coming out.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. I don't know. I watched the last special that came out.
All his specials are good. I think he's one of the most consistent delivery guys. Yeah, his sets always get better. They never I think his sets always get better, man.
I think Tom Segura is actually one of my favorites.
What? Yeah.
I love Bill Burr. I love Bill Burr.
It might be there might be a culture for us and you on Tom Segura.
Probably.
Because when I watch Dave Chappelle, I get a lot more of his jokes now after working. than I did before. I laugh at a lot more things.
Yeah. The reason why comedy is like this thing, like it's like I don't know, it's like the middle ground understanding between politics and then like everyday life, and it just makes it make sense. And the reason why you laugh is because you know something. As long as you laugh, you basically laugh at it but they don't tell you what it is. Like humor is like the one of the scientific studies that most scientists can't figure out. Like it's like very difficult to figure out why we laugh.
Oh, so there's two mysteries scientists can't figure out: women and humor.
Oh my
there
God.
we go. Well, let's go back to Burb. Oh, what's up, Josh?
You were talking about like Harlem and stuff popping up.
Yeah.
And you were talking about working together. There's a real disconnect in Birmingham on like people trying to do stuff together.
Yeah.
Because a lot of it, I feel like, is just like, if this is not profitable, if I'm not going to make money off this, I'm not going to do it. Like a lot of people aren't into investing into a product and realizing like you're not going to make any money off this for a minute.
Time.
But when you do start making money, it snowballs and it's worth the investment.
Exactly. But the thing about it is, like, you have to understand, is it likable enough to invest in?
Oh, that's the question. Let y'all get back on that microphone, Joshua. We want to hear your beautiful peanut butter voice.
Is it? Oh my God.
Make sure you point that microphone in.
Oh man, whatever. Fuck you, man.
Oh no, he said peanut butter voice, and like a lot of rapper dudes will they'll be doing their bars, and then you can like in the recording you can hear them.
It's okay. When I listen to this, I know I'm gonna have a shit ton of mouth noise too.
Oh man, that's funny.
It's hard to not have mouth noise when you're just like normal speaking.
Yeah, but yeah. So basically, if damn it, what was the question again?
We were talking about
Harlem.
That, and then talking about how businesses in Birmingham aren't
Perfect. Got it. So, Jean-Michel Basquiat, I love to use Jean-Michel Basquiat. He had a tragic ending to his story, but his art was basically him trying to please his father. That's all his artwork wanted to do. He would research and study, and he was a homeless guy too. He was a homeless kid. When he was 18, 19, he moved out the house and he started living in places, and he was just doing graffiti on the wall. And then he said he met Andy Warhol. He wanted to box with Andy Warhol, right? And so he had. If you go on YouTube, you watch this documentary called The Radiant Child, right? And it talks about how the Renaissance of Harlem came about, right? And he was our time's Picasso. You know, his paintings were like if a caveman could see the future. Like, it was weird. You know what I'm saying? If you look at his work, you actually see, like, his work was, like, very intrinsic, and it had multiple stories to it. He would read multiple stories and take newspapers, and he would take information, and he would come up with this story and put it into a painting. You know, he would have thousands of books laying around. He would pull from each book and be like, okay, where's my inspiration going to come from? So he literally pulled from history itself, right? But it was very childlike in the way it looked. But that's one reason why his artwork was very, like, it was just loud. It was loud, but you knew it meant something. It had this look to it. So, but his friends were artists too. They were painters. And they were in bands, right? They were writers. They were filmers. They were photographers, and they just started working together. Nobody was worried about money. Nobody was worried about money, because what happens is, if the product is good, it's fucking good. And I think here we care so much about, we're trying to survive, right? It's the crabs in the bucket mentality. Everybody, and it's like we're trying to survive. At the same time, we're trying to create, and it doesn't go together. You have to sacrifice. You literally have to sacrifice for what you want to do. Pick one, because the mindset here is the reason why we're small. It's not the people. It's the mindset.
I agree with that, man. Because I always think, when I talk about this, I always think of what artists have come out of Birmingham besides YBN Nabir. Didn't Gucci come from Bessemer?
Yeah, he did come from Bessemer.
So you got to think, man. So you got to think, man. Is when the artist blows up, say, why are they going to Atlanta? Why ain't they coming supporting the homeboys? Well, did you support the homeboy when he was coming up?
Yeah.
So he has no fucking reason to come back to a place that he got no love from.
Yeah.
And bring up the place.
It's hard being an artist in Bama.
It is.
A lot of people will just, like, even if you're doing good, like, they'll just hate on you. Because I've seen a lot of bands, like, they may start in Birmingham, but they're gonna move to Nashville, or LA, you know, somewhere with a bigger scene, with a better.
Which is smart. I think it's smart.
You got to. If you're trying to be successful as an artist, you got to go where the work is.
Yeah. In layman's terms, you gotta go where the money is, man.
Yeah. I think that Birmingham is a great test market. I think it's a good place to really understand the industry, take time to research and create, make your music, understand how to get on the market, get on the road, and then take your ass on. And I feel like people don't even ask that question. They're looking to trying to get to local venues. Worry about your music first to see if it's good, right?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people say, oh, it's all right. Yeah, we don't tell the truth here. You know what I'm saying?
That's so
we don't
true.
tell the truth to everybody, and we're scared to hurt people's feelings. Because we don't want our feelings hurt.
I'm not.
Oh, don't worry. Me too, Josh.
You gotta I will say it has come back on a negative. There's a certain delivery. Like, you need to be able to, like, people do need to learn, hey.
But everybody's not informed.
That's true.
So all advice isn't good advice. And at the same time, we also don't know how to take everything with a grain of salt. So it's a lot of variables.
In music, it's hard because you spend so much time, like, writing, working, and perfecting a song, and somebody just, like, comments, "This sucks." You're just like, you get, like, it does hit you in the
because
it hits you in the heart.
Because
you're like,
well, you gotta ask the question. You gotta have enough resolve to go and ask that question.
Yeah, it's separation really from what you're doing and yourself. Like,
this goes back to separating yourself from your brand.
Yeah, you can't let some rando on the internet
really get you down.
Why does it suck? Because, man, it's not my style. Oh, what kind of music you like? Okay, yeah, that's probably why. Okay, cool. And then you get confirmation from that, and then now you can use that as another piece of paint to put in your canvas.
Yeah.
You know?
But also, people are not open to change.
That is very true.
Especially in music. Because, so as the real role of the producer is to take this song and make it the best that it can be. Yes. And sometimes that's axing sections of this song, changing stuff. Like, nobody understands. They all think the producer's the dude that just mashes record. Yeah. Like, the song is what it is. We're going to print it in Pro Tools and call it a day. No, the producer is the guy that takes this song and makes it the best it can possibly be. Whether that's with instrumental changes, lyric changes, melody changes. You got to be open to change.
The producer is your douchebag boss who fires half your team so the company can keep on going.
Yeah.
Yep. That's the producer.
If you want to be successful, you have to understand when it's time to fight for something and when it's time to say, all right.
So let's sell this beat.
That's right. The dude that did Old Town Road only made $30.
Yeah, I read about that, man. It's
BeatStars, man.
He never even got to renegotiate, did he?
I don't think so.
Yep. So what's up, Digi?
Panda's the only the guy who made Panda was the only one who got to renegotiate after it blew up.
But see, that's the thing about it. So like you go back to earlier when I walked in the office and I was like, "Hey man, producers are some of the smartest people." You're like, "No, they're not." So I guess
that story though. That story though is a dime a dozen. Producer makes a dope beat, and then a dude blows up off of it. And that guy only made $40 off a song that's been played millions of times.
Yeah, exactly. But he probably raised his prices now.
Yeah, he is.
Well, he's probably now getting placements. Yeah. If he was smart, he got an A&R guy, or a PR person, a manager. Really, he got a manager, to deal with that, so he could make the most money possible.
Yeah, I feel that.
His price definitely go up.
Yeah, which that leads back to the event Visual Paradise is that we want to be able to show artists that, hey, if you talk about your music, I always tell people this, be that in which you truly want to be. Like, be undeniable in your approach. Like, whatever you're trying to relay, like, if you have a story. I don't know, your toe got cut off last week and you really hurt, and you still paint, and you put a piece of your toe in this art piece, and then you whatever, like, hey, this piece worth $10,000. This is my toe on here. Okay, cool. Be that, like, be the person. If I tell people this all the time. If you mad, be mad. Slap people, throw stuff. Like, I don't know, just be the mad person. At least I know you're the mad person. If you're happy, be happy all the time. Hug everybody. High five people. I don't know, encourage people. You're a happy person. So what happens is, just by putting that specific energy out there, you're going to definitely get that back in return to someone that resonates with you, and they'd be willing to buy your art piece more so than not buy it, or at least follow you, or at least support you in the future.
Is it because it's easier now for other people to associate that artist with something?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm starting to get it.
Yeah, you get it. Right?
Yeah, association is key to being, association to your image. Is that what you're saying?
Basically, yes.
Okay.
So when people say local artists here in Birmingham, it has a very bad connotation. Like, no, horrible. Don't say that. Say what the event is. Say who's performing. This is the thing. You need to check this shit out. All right. So for example, like we had a show at Upside Down Plaza not too long ago, and I literally probably got about 12 people that did not get marketed to the show, that did not see the flyer, and just me telling them, hey, this show fire. You need to come check it out. Boom, boom. Perfect. We made like $300 that night. Artists got to get paid well, and then kept a good relationship with the bar, right? So just off of basically being that what you truly want to be, you'd be surprised how many people are like you just because you make them laugh.
That's true. A good joke, is worth way more than a marketing campaign.
Way better.
So with the event that you're putting on, so. Say it goes well. Mm-hmm. What's the next step after the event?
The next step is to already start advertising the next event.
Okay.
That's already.
So you already have another event kind of cooking?
Yeah.
What's cooking, man? What's in that?
That's not for me to say. That's not for me.
Getting into some NDAs.
NDAs. I love them, man.
But the goal is to be able to recap the event, recap the experience, document it properly, make sure we get everybody's storyline before and after, during the process week of, podcast the whole experience of this event to where other artists can see, oh, wow, this is the process they went through. I would like to go through the same thing. And then we can have a selection of artists that are very serious about their work and they would like to go into another platform. And then we can thus produce more on the film side, on the marketing side, and, just teach them more about themselves and give them like more inside tips on how to become better.
I think visual documentation has a big role to play these days in terms of pushing an artist forward. Because you gotta think, man. Same with music. I mean, people are gonna watch the music video.
Yeah.
The music's more of a backdrop now to the music video. Sometimes it feels like that
or
makes sense.
or just a good Instagram post.
Exactly. I feel like music videos is just like this big mental disruption. I feel like it just has to be so far bizarre than what the song is about.
In rap music, it's gotta be like super just fast paced, lots of colors happening. Because if you look at a lot of the videos, they all basically have the same effects.
Yes, they give you epilepsy.
God, the best music video I've ever seen in my life was, for one, the Baby's video, which was very comical. It was had a lot of sequences to it. It was just like it was like the longest meme ever. Like it was like a visual meme ever.
Which one?
The Baby, back in the straw. Hey, you like how I smell?
Hey, Suge.
Yeah, Suge. Suge is great, right? Suge is
the
great.
mailman, and
It was highly directed, great directed, right? And then it had different facets to it. It had the Baby, then it had him in the business office, and he was whatever the case is. It put him in a good light. Then you have Jaden Smith. He had this video with Tyler the Creator, and it was just a 10-second pan for 3 minutes, and it was the best thing ever. And it let me focus on the music, and I was like, "Why is this visual boom, boom, boom?" And it's like the same visual playing over and over and over again. And I just watched it for 3 minutes. I'm like, "Why am I watching this?" Like,
there's an artist that I follow. He goes by the name Bill Murray, and one of his records, all of his music videos were just GIFs of him doing one thing, but it was like deep fried. Like he's hard into like the meme world, so he like all of his music videos were a GIF of him doing something super like deep fried and saturated. Yeah. But like I watched every one of those videos but they were all the same. Like they were all
simple to consume.
Yeah, and it was just like he made a playlist, he shared it, I clicked on it.
Yeah.
Half an hour later,
exactly.
I had finished it.
And you like the music because it lets you focus on the music. So that's a subconscious thing. That favorite part, like this whole thing, is my favorite part. You know, I love this thing. You know, it's very, very, very simple, subtle things that get people to be like, "Oh, I like this."
Are you guys gonna put out like a full length video, like a full length documentary on the whole process?
Yes, we are.
What's the timeline? For getting that done?
Probably
post event.
Yeah,
it'll probably be archived up until the next release of the product. So let's say the next event, we're probably gonna showcase that last event a month ahead of time to just give more of a back end on it. Start a YouTube channel on it. Just give people more insight on just the process. So they can just basically give out more information, because quite frankly, like, what are you gonna do with it? I'm one person. That's so selfish. Like, you know, like I'm one person with all this information. Why wouldn't I let share with other people for them to better, right? So
I give the information. I just don't give all of my.
Well, not all of it. Yeah. I mean,
some of the sauce.
That's foolish. Yeah.
Some of the seasoning.
But a lot of your knowledge comes from you actually doing what you do. Like nobody's on that soundboard every day. Every day.
That's true.
It's like what, like 0.0002% people that's producing music.
It's pretty saturated right now.
It is.
Well, it depends on like the population. I'm talking about like the whole world population.
Oh,
it's kind of broad, right?
It's really saturated in Birmingham. There are a lot of like bedroom dudes.
Yeah.
Because I get undercut a lot.
Yeah.
Because I charge a certain rate and I don't budge. Like. That's how it is. Like,
but see, you charge their rate, right? But what are they getting? It's like, for example, it's a friend of mine. His name is Chandler Cook, right? His name is Chandler Cook. He runs Lazy River Recording Studios in Buckhead, Atlanta. When you go do business with him, it's called Lazy River Studios for a reason. You basically book your session, right? And it's a good decent rate, like $800. But you actually work with him over the weekend, and you can stay at his house, and you basically work as much as you want to work on your music. It's focusing more on the product than it is like on the. And I understand it's a different story.
Yeah.
But that at a lower rate it creates trust, and you can then secure your market longer out.
I see where you're coming.
It's a more catered to approach. I mean, it's like basically like going to a suit store, having an old guy tell you this Russian story about how he used to sit, how he's got in suits, opposed to a guy saying, "Oh man, this look good on you, man."
Yeah.
$20.99. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But in this market,
the undercutting is extreme. I'm talking about
it's like I charge $65 an hour, and I'll get undercut by dudes who are like, I'll do it for $15, like the whole process.
The whole mix.
I'm not gonna do that. I value my time too much.
Yeah.
I mean, you book an hour, we'll do whatever we got to do in that hour.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, I did a little bit of that too when I started as a mixing guy.
Yeah.
I mean, next door, a guy be charging like $65 an hour. I was like, hey, I'll do $40 an hour.
Yeah.
It wasn't an extreme undercut, but hey.
No, it happens. Like it'll be like I had a guy call today. He asked me what the price was. I was like, it's $65 an hour, and he's like, man, I'm an older dude. I only got 20, and I was like,
I'm an older dude. I only got 20.
That's what he said to me. I was like, what?
What?
It's $65 an hour, and then he hung up on me, and I was like, okay. It's good though to have the set price filters out a lot of the.
Yeah. Well, have you thought about like saying, hey, you know, let's say you had a slow day on a Tuesday, like with your slow days, like, hey, Monday and Tuesdays are the only days I can book these appointments. So what happens is you become a demand, right? And then people want to work with you more, and you're like, okay, my price has to go up because now more people are in the business with me. So like you're gonna always fill in that hole for like Monday and Tuesday, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday is like more professional hours where you know hit that rate.
It's harder to do. Rappers are very inconsistent.
Every time I've increased my prices, I've lost about, I'd say, good 60%.
You lose a fat chunk.
Not
of your
because they didn't like my work or didn't like me.
Yeah.
But it's because they just can't afford it. I'm talking about these guys. Oh, I got 3 kids to take care of. I understand. No hard feelings. You gotta do what you gotta do. You can find another guy.
Some dudes.
Some of them spend too much on clothes. I'm gonna be real.
Or weed.
Yeah.
A lot of the clientele I've run into, it's like, do I want to? The studio I work at, we have a very easygoing rate. Like, you want to go to Atlanta, you're not only paying for studio time, you're also paying an engineer.
Yes.
Yeah.
You go to New York.
Oh my God, $130 to rent the room an hour. Engineers anywhere between $50 and $150
an hour. Like here, you just rent. If you book an hour, I come in. I will do whatever it is you want to do.
Yeah.
You wanna yell at me? Sure. $65 an hour.
Yeah.
But like a lot of people don't want to invest in themselves.
Well, they don't understand it from a business perspective. That's one thing. So knowledge
is that what your event will be doing?
Yes.
Teaching people how to understand.
Well, the process will be teaching you how to understand.
Okay.
And the event will be the end goal of the whole experience. So it may be one artist, like for example, one artist that we filmed in the beginning. I can't tell you what her name is, but we filmed in the beginning. She was very nervous on camera, and she was like, but she was well spoken. She has beautiful artwork, right? But let's see what happens at the end of this process when you're more, like for example, I don't do this often, right? But but being able to have confidence in what I'm doing allows me to stay focused on the specific topic, and just that mindset alone is what we're trying to just get people over the hump of like the fear factor,
Okay, I think I'm starting to get more of what your event's doing. See,
there's a hard learning curve as an artist when you're trying to like sell yourself, especially talking. Like when you're trying to like, I'm on tour this week. Come out to a show, and like you'll see those announcement videos and be like, like you'll be looking all around, like not really
look like the cops are looking for.
Yeah, they're not like looking at the camera, delivering the message with some form of enthusiasm. Yeah, like a lot of them are just real cringy.
Yeah, I would tell people all the time, you're not good enough. Your picture alone is not good enough. A flyer alone is not good enough. Like, what are you doing to entertain? When you go to the movie theaters, you pay to be entertained. You think somebody's going to pay you not to entertain them? And you're an entertainer, quote unquote? Did that make sense to me?
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah.
I tell, like, the album cycle is dying. Like, putting out a full-length record is not the move anymore. Yeah. The move is dropping singles with a good visual and, a
storyline.
Yeah, like, there's a...
Connect to an industry. I tell people all the time, go find a market where your music thrives. And there's not enough data on that, honestly, where you're saying, okay, hey, these shows are played here more. These shows are... This is, like, for example, pop rock is done more in Ohio than it is in Alabama. Don't do pop rock in Ohio. Go move to this state. And I think a lot of people here don't want to move. right?
Or they can't. In that sense.
I think you should take a risk. I think you
agree.
should take a risk. I feel like if you're an artist, you're having kids,
every single successful person was like, we took a risk, and it was a make it or break it moment, and we made it. Now there are a lot of it broke.
There's a lot of it broke moments. Yes,
broken. Well, yeah, that's the part where your music is not good enough. You don't realize it, and
go back to the drawing board.
There are a couple of artists I work with very closely in Birmingham that I feel like need to, like, you guys need to make a choice.
Yeah,
do this or stop. Like, there's no.
Yeah,
you can halfway it, but you're getting some success because you write good songs and you guys draw crowds.
Yeah.
But you aren't playing enough
to
keep your Spotify streams up, or, you know.
You're not staying recurring. And I think a lot of it is like attaching yourself to others. Your Instagram can only do so much. Unless you got a true plan to like post. Like, for example, I was talking to this rapper in Atlanta. Very good rapper. Can't tell you his name, but he is a up and coming artist, and he's been grinding his butt off for 2 years. I was the first person. He said, "Man, I want to start rapping." This was 2 years ago. He went to Miles College, and now he's in Atlanta. And he moved to Houston. He moved to San Antonio.
Oh, that's
and then
great.
He went out there to he went to Houston, and he went out there to learn more about the music market. Texas, people don't say I'm from America when they go to Houston. They can say I'm from Texas. You know what I'm saying? So that market alone gave him enough confidence to believe in what he got, right? So he actually got a team together. He got a formula together. Now he has a 9-month posting plan where he's going to start actually posting the right videos, posting storyline videos with the real purpose behind it, so people can understand who his character is on social media, right? So that way people can be engaged every time they watch him when he's posting. So at 5 o'clock, I know every day at 5 o'clock subconsciously that this person's about to come on my news feed and they're about to entertain me the right way.
Yeah, a lot of people also don't use Instagram in the correct way. They're like,
yes,
I posted today, it didn't get that many likes. Dude,
well,
you didn't. When was the last time you posted anything where it's the only time you post is like shows?
Yeah.
You don't post you guys doing normal things.
You don't post the build up. You just post
no build up. There's no build up. That's it.
Yeah.
Or
look, you
it's
getting
like,
it, man. You getting
I'm
it.
getting there.
I'm happy for you, man.
They post all the build up stuff on their individual Instagram. It's like, no, you guys need to take those pictures and put it on your band's page.
Exactly.
Like, you basically almost need to give up your own personal Instagram.
Yeah, fuck your life. Like, whatever. Like, fuck your life.
Yeah.
At that point.
My wife gets mad at me. She's like, you only ever post stuff about the studio. And I was like, it's what I do.
Yeah.
That's what I do all day.
Yeah. That's a shallow approach right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is what it is, though, man.
Yeah, the studio posts do way better than any of my other ones. I've just noticed.
Yeah. You know, you got to do a setup in here, man. I think it'd be dope if you had like a GoPro in here and use it.
I've thought about streaming my work stuff, but there's a lot of like where I'm just sitting here tabbing, tab to transient, putting in drum samples.
Well, you could be entertaining. I mean, you got to think about it. I mean, you would never 10 years ago or 15 years ago, nobody would think people would make a living based off other people watching them play video games.
That's so true. That's mind blowing.
Dude, did you know that they're finna start a actual high school sports league for video games?
Yeah, I saw that.
It's like $1 billion industry right now.
Yeah, people.
Like my little brother said, "Hey man, I want to do that." I'm like, bro, you gotta
say go for it, dude.
Like,
I mean, there's shit ton of money, dude.
He's pretty good at Smash Bros. Though. Like, he's
Ninja, I mean, Ninja makes so much. He's endorsed by like Red Bull.
He was playing like the game with Drake.
Yes,
and Drake don't even play video games.
I don't know. The video game world has really came into like mainstream. Because I remember in high school, oh, you play Halo? Nerd.
Yeah, and I see some beta parents on Facebook.
Nerds are winning right now, bro.
They are.
That's right.
Nerds are the people starting
those teams.
Exactly. Those are the studs right now.
Those teams that are doing those esports, like $25 million pods, like
crazy.
You making some fat cash.
Imagine.
Playing.
You know what? You guys just gave me an idea, actually. Anyway, but
what's the video game tournament?
Dude, you see, this is the guy.
Video game tournament.
A Smash Bros tournament would kill.
But everybody tries to do those. Like they be like, and this is what people do. They like post it on Facebook, And they be like, "Oh, we're gonna do a Smash Bros tournament," and they never do it. I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
I feel like
I'm gonna do it.
you should do like a couple of like round robin things, like where you just host an event and you can have a couple of Smash setups, see how it goes. A lot of people just try to do the tourney without like building a foundation.
Oh my God! You know, it'd be crazy. Like if one of us here was really rich for some reason, and then we just started a Smash Bros tournament and say, "Hey, the prize is $10,000," and we just don't.
Yeah,
no
the tournaments that I've seen, there's no real prize.
Yeah.
Like it's like a couple $100 or like a gift card. There's no like
Here's a McDonald's gift card.
Yeah, if somebody put up like $1,000, like if you could get people to sponsor the event and have like $1,000 here is a lot of money.
Yeah.
To a lot of people, like that's rent for me for like 2 months.
Yeah.
I think if you could put something tangible and worthwhile, it would pop off.
It would, man. Maybe money is the solution to everything. Maybe that's
money
evil.
I don't know. Money is this weird thing. I think
It's a double-edged sword.
I know it is. I'm just trying to.
I have this specific breakdown on money. What money is.
What's your breakdown on it, Joshua?
Okay, so so take the word money, right? Cool. Word money, and then let's split it. So you say currency, right? So currency is the language of each economy, and how it operates financially, and how you measure it in metrics. Okay, and then let's go back behind currency, right? So let's say, for example, let's stay on currency. So let's say America produces rice and cowboy boots. All right. Okay. Right. Okay. So that's our resource, and then we market it by videos and country music videos or whatever the case is, and like y'all know what's the name? What's the guy's name, man? Billy Ray Cyrus.
Oh,
and Billy Ray Cyrus, he's like the spokesperson for it. And so like 1 million people love him and they buy it, and then boom, now you have this product making money, right? Okay, well somebody has to make those boots, and someone got to pick that rice. Okay, all right. So maybe a machine or whatever the case is. So then we go into economy and we go into physics, right? So you have physics, which is the actual thought process of the intellectual property or the actual physical nature of or logistical formula for that product being moved, and you have the economy, which is basically like the economic resource side, which is like rice, leather, shit like that. And so when you combine those two, you have this language called finance, right? Which now let's say for example cars or things like that, and then you attach to specific things. Hey, this is the interest or finance way where you boom, and it keeps us rolling, it keeps us working, it keeps us making moves and business decisions, right? And so then you go back to the term currency, based off finance, based on every specific different region of what the economy is doing at the time, or what country is making what money at the time, right? And then you would go back to money. And then that would be the breakdown for what money really is. So that's why I tell people, if you focused on the art more, if you focus on the craft more, you probably would get more, you would get higher value more so than working for the money. Because if you worry about the money, you have to be fundamentally likable first. Smile, laugh, inspiration, informed, entertained, right? To say the least. And then collect money. Because now people will like you a part of your life.
Right. That's the thing, man. You got to have a product there if you want people to buy it first. Instead of just sitting there begging for money like people in New York.
Donate to my Kickstarter.
Donate to my... Hey, can you donate to my Patreon? What you got? I don't know. I'm going to start making... Fuck off. Come on, man.
It's funny. Do you know Anthony Fantano?
Yes.
Do you know the Needle Drop?
Yes.
So
he's been shitting on a ton of records this year, dude. It's hilarious.
That's true. But in his defense, a lot of them are not good.
Yes. Not good.
But he just started his Patreon, and he's been doing music reviews on YouTube for a decade.
12 years, I think.
A long time. And he just now started doing the Patreon, and his Patreon is popping off.
Yeah.
I think he has almost 1,000, and he's only had it for a month. Wow. But I mean, man.
There's this guy. He's a tech guy. He's an Asian guy, and he does these videos that talks about him trying to start a startup. And it's like that's all. It's like him trying to start a startup, and it's like he got his friends with him, and they're like going over certain ideas, and he's like presenting on his Vizio TV as a presentation. It's like everybody's in the room chilling, and so he does these specific episodes, but he actually has real knowledge on the other side of you subscribe to his YouTube page, where he's actually dropping real knowledge about what not to do in a startup or what to do in a startup.
That's entertaining.
It's a hidden message in entertainment. Like a lot of those channels that are like educational based.
Yeah.
If you package it in something digestible, people will eat it up.
Yeah.
Like
exactly.
If you make it fun or funny and entertaining, like people will.
Yeah.
Like that dude who kept like letting be the most dangerous, like not dangerous, like the most painful stings in the world. He took a sting from an executioner wasp. He flew out to wherever they are and got one and stuck it on his arm and let it sting him.
I think I've seen this guy. Isn't this the same dude who just sits there and gets bitten by bullet ants or something? Just for the fuck of it?
Well, he started out, he stuck his hands in some harvester ants to see if he can hold it there for a minute. Then he did fire ants. And then he did
They fucking hurt.
Yes,
fire ants hurt.
that is very true. And there are so many of them in Texas. You can't go anywhere. When I was on tour, I flew into San Antonio. In the airport,
there's ants.
I got bit by ants. I was like, what is happening? But no, and then he got stung by like the cow killer. Then he did the scorpion.
The cow killer?
That's what it's called. It's a really big ant.
Wow.
Like its stinger is like a quarter of an inch long. That's
crazy.
It's big, it's red. It's the velvet ants. I think that's what it was named. What's the tarantula hawk?
The tarantula hawk?
Yeah, so
I'm trying to visualizing it.
You sound interested by this right now. You sound like you want to get into that.
It's crazy. Well,
he's got to exit for the studio life. That's the exit plan right now.
No, the executioner wasp, or not that, the tarantula hawk, what it does
Tarantula hawk.
Yeah, it's massive.
They just making shit up.
It's pretty big. It like sits in the palm of your hand. It's that big. What it does is it goes up to tarantulas and stings them under their belly, like under their abdomen, and it paralyzes the tarantula. And then the wasp drags the tarantula back in its hole and it implants an egg. And then the egg hatches. The larva eats the tarantula while it's still alive. It eats its way out like an alien. The chest burster.
Wait,
that's where they got the idea for Alien. It was that bug, and there was another one.
Yo, how the fuck did we go from an art show to deadliest bugs?
It'd be like that, man.
It'd be like that. That's the magic of natural conversation.
I was gonna ask something about advertising on something, and I've lost it.
I think we covered a lot of advertising. We were saying, what was effective, what wasn't effective. There's a lot of ineffective.
This is a question I have. How do you go about the initial starting a conversation with an artist about the importance of marketing, advertising, selling yourself, and it's not just about your music?
Yeah.
How do you get that initial conversation going? Because a lot of people I've met are very like not about it, and there's a better word.
They don't. It's out of their mind. They're not. Thinking
they're not like they're not very hip to it.
So man, you have to. It's ego.
Oh, okay.
A lot of it's ego, and a lot of it's lack of creativity. You may be an artist, but you may not be creative, like to show people who you are as a person, right? So, for example, everybody's not going to be The Weeknd. The Weeknd was releasing music for like 3 years. Nobody knew who the hell he was, and it was just undeniable. You couldn't. It was just groundbreaking music. And then eventually they tried everything in the book, and LVO, EXO got a chance to get to him. They ended up fucking him over in the end, but they got him. You know what I'm saying? And so you're not going to find that every time, right? Before Lil Nas started doing videos, he was doing videos in the cemetery, like everybody else. You know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden, it just like, boom, right?
The cowboy.
That's it, right? So, but that's the song side. But sometimes music is undeniable. You just gotta go with it. But sometimes people have to know, like for example, if I'm making political music, right, positive political music, I'll probably be doing postings about other politicians.
Okay.
I'll probably do that, right? Because you have to, like, your art is the form in which, like, you basically can. For example, J. Cole's a prime example. J. Cole's always talking about being human. He's always talking about, not getting the big head and, not letting the money get to his head. And so he dresses like everyday person. He dresses very common, very chill, very relaxed. Like, that's a contrasting perspective to what his reality actually is. is that he's a millionaire, right? But that doesn't make him. So he reinvented his image, or he stayed the same image. Whatever the case is, but
he kept his
exactly.
He kept what he was about, even though he's making fat checks.
Yeah. So once you contrast from that, then once you contrast from that perspective, then you now say, okay, well, the media is going to eat me up. For example, Kanye West, right? So Kanye West is going through. He's been getting the heat.
Kanye is a very calculated person.
He is calculated, but. Of course, you would act radical. What was the word? Radical or irrational or whatever the word is.
Crazy?
Not crazy. I won't say crazy. He knows what he's doing, but he's
not. He's making
anybody in the industry knows what they're doing. Whatever.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's not. I think he's using a lot of what's going on as a catalyst to keep himself in.
He's under contract.
Yeah, to keep himself relevant so he doesn't fade to obscurity.
Well, he can't fade to obscurity because he's under contract. He's under contract.
Yeah.
He has one of the biggest music contracts, period. He's like the top 5 history best producers to ever, probably the best producer ever walked this earth, to be honest with you. Next to, what's the guy's name who, what's his name, man? Oh, my God.
What'd he do?
It's a white dude, old guy.
Is it Jimmy Iovine?
Him.
Yeah.
That guy's a genius. Got so much. He's so talented, dude.
I watched a documentary on him with him and Dr. Dre.
It's good, Pat. Yeah.
I think it was on HBO.
Yeah.
It's a good documentary. Have you seen it yet?
Which one?
I forgot the name of it.
Yeah.
Let me look it up.
But I think that is a way, like, you have to really you really have to understand who you are. You have to have a story. You gotta put your life in your music.
Yeah.
Regardless,
yeah,
because somebody's got to resonate with who you are as a human being. You can't just be like, "Oh, I'm this big thing. My music's so good," and this and next. Shut up, shut up.
And then they go and say the same things that 1,000 other people are saying,
to a different beat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's the rap market. But that's
no, it's not just the rap. It's every market.
Oh wow.
They're all saying there's the people. The people who are successful, even though they're doing the same thing, are telling it like what you said. They're putting their own image, their own flair into it, and they're making it just different enough that most people don't realize that it's the same thing they've already heard.
Yeah,
but
no one questions anything.
That's true.
No one questions stuff. We don't. This is not the era for questioning until you don't like it,
or it does something that you don't like.
Right.
They say something that that you don't agree with, and then you try to get them canceled on Twitter.
Exactly. Like, for example, like Dave Chappelle's special.
Yeah.
I was talking about that earlier.
I saw that. A lot of
critics.
It was
such a good set.
They locked it to the audience, and for a while, the only critics were giving it a 0% because they only locked it to critics. But when the audience reviews started,
it's like 99 one. It went from 0.
I thought it was.
No, 100. I think it was 99.
It's 99.
It did go from 0. It was 0 at one point because they locked it to like 5 dudes.
Yeah.
Or 5 angry chicks.
That's all a lot of the critics are just white dudes. Not.
I mean, no. But like I said, like you got to think about it. Like, what is a lot of it's like politically correct, but. That just means you want to hear what you want to hear. That's all that means.
Yeah.
So.
And Dave Chappelle is going to say what he wants to say and doesn't care.
He got fucked over. Like, he can say what he wants to say. He was a prime example of the industry lying, taking his money. He made him, $500 million. They only paid him $50 million. But he's supposed to got half of that contract, 50-50, but they went against it. You see what I'm saying? And so, like, he's the prime example of, hey, I got messed over, so I can say what I want to say, and I'm still here.
Is that why he stopped doing the Dave Chappelle show for a bit? Because he didn't want to.
That's why he quit the Chappelle show.
Yep.
And then he made that joke about Key and Peele. That was so funny.
I remember that.
I was weak.
You got Key and Peele doing my show.
That was so funny, and also like a kind of a light bulb moment where I realized. Well, they really were kind of trying to replace the Chappelle show.
Yeah, and you didn't know until he said it.
Yeah, he wasn't, and they weren't the only ones that they were trying to do it with.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people just didn't like what he said because they don't.
Oh, boo-hoo.
Yeah.
I feel like...
But that's Dave Chappelle.
This is Dave fucking Chappelle.
You should expect that. He's going to say things that you don't agree with.
But I felt like he put it in a way that was like he didn't make this world.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times we have to separate ourselves. Just because we're the person saying something that happened doesn't mean we're the person you should blame for it. And I think that people, it goes back to what I said, people don't question. the things around them. They'll be like, oh, what's the root of this? You know, I think that's the thing.
Sorry, I'm thinking about the Obama when he said, Dave, I got your message.
That was good. That was good.
And nobody questions. It's because it's very formulaic nowadays. Like there's a certain formula you can follow and you'll pop off.
Yeah.
Like it's very easy to do that now. I mean, there are still variables in a level of getting lucky, but if you're at least halfway good looking, and
you're not a cunt.
I wasn't gonna say that. I was gonna say if you
that
aren't,
one and the other one.
Yes.
if you aren't incompetent, or if you have somebody that can just write things for you to say, and then you stick with that, you can build a whole image, and nobody will bat an eye.
Yeah.
Like if you look at the artists who are popular, they all have a certain look. Yeah. They have a certain demeanor, a certain way they speak.
Yeah.
And then, you know, when they go off the rails, you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look at the next artist who's still on the rails.
And then you realize, oh man, they got dropped from their label.
Exactly.
Happens all the time, dude.
Yeah. But the thing about it is, like, labels are connected to industries. Yet again.
Yes.
Because those industries have to sell products, and those products need influencers. Yep. Music is like one of the richest resources on the planet. It's very highly regulated by the federal government. So you have to understand, like, that is a resource. It's like more valuable than water.
And they also need to understand to read the contract,
please,
before you sign it.
Oh my God, I heard from this one guy said, it's like, man, I got a lot of money today. I got advanced $10,000. I said, you don't have money. You have a $10,000 loan that they expect to make $14,000.
Nobody understands that.
Yeah.
In when you sign that record deal, like they're loaning you that money. And then they're going to go, man, my Spotify numbers are huge, but I'm only making like $2,000. Well, your label is taking most of that money that you're making, and they're paying it. You're paying them back, basically, because you spent 6 months
fucking around.
Yeah, in the studio every day, and you spent $250,000 trying to put out this new record. It's doing well. You better be glad it is, because if you weren't, if it wasn't,
a record label is like a bank.
Yes,
basically,
it's like the bank of music.
That's why it's if you can do it not with a label, you should do that. But I understand, like, the record label is still necessary for certain genres of music.
Yeah.
Like, you use that record label as clout, basically.
Yeah, it has some prestige to it. They they got a lot of connections, distribution.
Yeah,
they're gonna take care
and
of
getting
that.
you on tours, like with artists.
It takes a fuck ton of money to go on tour, and I don't think a lot of artists realize that.
No, it is so expensive.
It's a lot of logistics, a lot of management.
And if you don't have, like, if you're going to tour, there are two things you need to spend a lot of money on: a driver and a tour manager. Like, those two things alone will save your life. You can sell your own merch. A photographer would be nice, but, like, the two is a driver. You laugh. The driver is clutch. Especially when you have driven all night, you've gotten 2 hours of sleep, and then you're doing load-in at 3 p.m., sound checking, and then you're doing the show, and then you get up and you drive to the next city that night. It's brutal.
And then the thing about it is, like, my issue was, like, with booking is, like, it's no central place you can go and get booking, man. And that's one reason why I wanted to create, you know, the technology that could actually, like, accommodate and fix that market. Even though it's a very, like, it might not matter to you, to the everyday person, but it matters to the people that are presenting to the everyday person. And it matters to the businesses if you can, like, make it some type of how can I put it? If they can benefit from it.
Yeah.
You know?
Booking is a very location-based. Like, if a show is in a certain area that I don't like going to, I won't go to the show. Like, it's just that simple.
Exactly.
But if it's in an area I'm cool with, yeah, I'll go.
Yeah.
Like, it's like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
But if I see where it's at and it's like, I don't like going there.
Yeah.
It would be very hard to convince me to drop my money.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly, man. So I think that from what we're recapping on, you know what I'm saying? I think the key points where we take away from this is, like, basically being able to look at yourself, your music as a business, being able to look at your art, primarily your art, as a business, and figuring out what industry you can attach yourself to, understanding how to present yourself, and being able to convey that not only vocally, but being able to communicate it from the effort perspective and being able to deliver. And being able to be, hey, I can save you this much time if you do business with me on this. Like, one thing I tell my clients all the time is when I do business with them, this is my closing line every time. I say, I can do your product at a higher quality at a faster rate of time, because that's going to allow you to gain more traction with when you go to market. And I think that's a beneficial thing for clients when they understand, hey, for example, if you can give me a car today that can go 500 miles per hour, right? I don't have to worry about traffic. I just go, just fly. My car can fly. I don't have to worry about anything, right? That's literally the scientific term is time travel. That's time travel at its best. Right? You know what I'm saying?
Because you're saving a lot of time.
Exactly.
What is it? It's something return, like not diminishing return. When you're doing like offering a service, you have a certain. I think it's just return, I guess, but a lot of people don't understand that. Like
return on investment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like if they're paying you something, you got to be able to do it really well and really quickly.
Yeah.
Like today more than ever. Like here, if you can track your vocals in 30 minutes, I can have it mixed and mastered and ready to drop before the hour.
Before the hours, exactly. Yeah. But that's you got to work like a machine. Most people don't understand that logistical perspective.
That's right. I'm the machine.
I'm the machine.
The machine.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's dope, man. It's dope. I like this.
It's very like the Model T, the assembly line. Mm-hmm. You almost have to work like a robot.
Exactly.
Nowadays.
And that's the thing, man. I feel like, throughout this whole process, throughout the whole experience, everyone gets to learn something from everyone. The visual artists, the painters get to be able to connect with music artists. They get to connect with the audience, right? They get to actually say, hey, what kind of art you like? What's your story? What made you like this piece? Just so you looked at this piece right here. How do you feel about it? How does it make you feel? Like being interested in the person. Because when you're an artist, you give up all your rights to worry about yourself when you're wanting to provide something to someone else. You know what I'm saying? You think that the baby can get on stage, right, and say, man, I don't want to do this no more, and walk off and drop the mic. No, he can't. He can't do that. You can't do it. The reason why you can't do that is because you have put yourself in a realm where you are built to entertain, or you are built to accommodate. You're built to provide an experience, right? A visually pleasing experience at that. So throughout this whole visual paradise process, the main focus is being able to get people to feel comfortable with who they are, truly who they are, and being able to be confident in that and get people to be confident in who they are.
I think it's gonna be a good event, especially for the artists, because it's gonna be kind of the little spark that they need to, move on to the next level. Be able to throw themselves out there a little bit more.
I think the networking is gonna be especially for the music artists. Like they're always the worst about visuals, and not understanding the importance of a good artwork, a good video. Even if the video concept is stupid, if it looks good, most people will just deal with the lack thereof of like a concept story or whatever, or even if it's just like you guys like performing the song. If it looks sick, it'll sell itself.
I believe that there should be a tour for every year for up-and-coming artists, musicians, anybody in fashion, anybody that they can go to this event every year and get the experience of what an artist goes through, a fashion designer goes through, a filmer goes through, a writer goes through, publishers go through, a entertainment lawyer goes through, what a business owner goes through, like just so you can get through that experience and really understand what it is, what's it like, right? Of course you charge for it, but I feel like that barrier of knowledge alone to a new artist that's 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, some guys fucking 30 don't know what to do, right? But they probably can work the computer and establish themselves. How do you get into that industry? You could be a TV engineer, or you could work on there's a couple indie projects where they're looking for engineers, so you can go on. I feel like people just don't have the information to be able to attach themselves to specific industries.
I think that's another reason why Birmingham seems to be kind of dragging its knuckles big, because there seems to be a lack of information of where to go to the next step.
Dissemination of information, yeah.
Not only it's the crabs in the bucket kind of thing. It's just nobody knows where to go. It's like you crawl out of the bucket. Well, where the fuck to go now? I'm just gonna go back in the bucket, hang out with my homies. You know, it's like
How is your event gonna help break the cycle, I guess, for all this lack of knowledge? What is there going to be, like PowerPoints or like pamphlets, or are you guys simulating like a gallery, like where an artist brings in a couple paintings and they're trying to sell them?
Okay, basically, so the experience is where there will be a setup where there'll be some models they're greeting everyone that comes in, the guest that comes in the door, and then
Good-looking people are important.
There you go.
Yes.
And then we're gonna have it to where there's gonna be a section specifically designated for the visual artists to be able to present, for you to walk up to and talk to the artist.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, and they can actually talk to the artist, and there'll be a specific location in the event. And then they have the stage where we're gonna have a couple acts come and perform every 15 to 30 minutes.
Basic set. Here's what we sound like.
Yeah, and we're gonna have a host who's gonna be painting live, to where we're gonna wrap.
That's cool.
We're gonna wrap that piece off, and then throughout the process, at the end, whoever stays at the end, right, they can get a chance to raffle everything off, and we can have a big bang, big powwow, and the club had a good event. We had a good event. The people enjoyed it, and it was for everybody. That's
it's a symbiotic relationship.
Yes,
everybody's benefiting from everybody's work.
Exactly.
There is not a lot of that.
Nope, not at all. In this
town. And the beautiful thing about this is we were fortunate enough to get a group of people that are just excited to work with each other. They're not worried about, oh, I work like this. Oh, this is my rate. Oh, this is like.
They're just making it happen.
They're just making it happen, right? And they understand, like, hey, we're all working in this together. You got a team here that's actually putting everything together for you, being your film company for 3 months. You know how hard that is? You've been knowing people for 20 years. You can't get them to
show up to your wedding.
They won't bring you sugar,
Man, I think we covered everything we were going to cover. Yeah. Is there anything else you want to add, Joshua?
No, I want to say, man, this is a great show. This is a great show. It's a great experience, man. And, Vision Paradise Work, exactly. We're happy to have you guys here. And we look forward to doing this again, man.
Well, I appreciate you coming on the show and sharing your knowledge with us and, having a good, fun conversation.
Any feedback, man. I'll ask for feedback. Give me something, man. I don't know.
Feedback to you?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know,
I'm always trying to get better, man. Like, what's next?
I don't know, man.
You have to listen back.
We'll have to listen back and see. But you hit the nail on the head as far as it seems, man.
Okay.
I don't know what the timeline for this one coming out is.
I don't know either, man. The timeline for this?
Yeah.
Joshua, you want this one out pretty soon, don't you?
Well, we would like to actually advertise your platform too. So the good thing about it is that we're going to actually be shooting out promo of this experience as well, for other people to be able to follow traction. So we want it to be full circle.
Okay.
So
So yeah, we'll talk more on that. How about that? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess that's it for the show. We got no fancy outro, dude. It's just we just hit click and then we're done.
Love your mistakes.
Yes. We're done, Josh.
And
okay, no, whatever.